Well, on this occasion, I want to talk about a verse. It's over in Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 1. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, so that it may be well with you, that you may live long on the earth." I want to talk about practical ways of honoring father and mother. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, interesting passage, it says in verse 24, "The father of the righteous will greatly rejoice, and he who sires a wise son will be glad in him. Let your father and your mother be glad, and let her rejoice who gave birth to you." I like the word "let" there. I think the idea is that we have control and power over whether our parents look back upon us with pleasure. We, we don't want our parents to enter into old age saying, you know what, I wish I never really had children to begin with. We do not want to live in such a way that we bring joy and gladness to them, particularly, and in the Proverbs, particularly if they're godly parents who have given us true biblical instruction. And so one of the things that I wanted to kind of note here is that if you had like Christian parents that gave you true biblical instruction, the last thing that you want to do is live in such a way that undermines what they were trying to achieve. I think of Proverbs chapter 27, or excuse me, Psalm 27. It says in verse 3, "Behold, children are a gift of the Lord, the fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. How blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be ashamed when they speak with their enemies in the gate." That last verse, I think the idea is that children can be arrows. Children can be like weapons for good and righteousness in the world. They're like arrows that parents kind of shoot out into the world, into the next generation for truth and goodness. And children are expected to defend their parents against their enemies. And if you're a godly parent, you're going to make enemies because godly people are not very popular in this world. They're kind of the minority among minorities. The percentage of people that are truly faithful to God, following what the Bible says, and are godly, man, probably around less than 1% of the world's population. And often they're not very popular because they speak the truth honestly. And so, one thing, do not give the enemies of your parents ammunition against them. People, if you rebel, then people are going to use your rebellion against your parents. And your parents do have enemies. Any godly person has made enemies over the years. Jesus said, "If the world hates me, it will hate you. And all who desire to live godly in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution." That's 2 Timothy 3, about verse 12. People would love to see you, by your life, discredit all that your parents stood for. So don't give them that ammunition. Jesus would point out in Matthew 15 that you have an obligation as they get older to provide for them if they need help. And so go out there, work hard, get a trade or a good education, pick out a degree that's smart, that makes sense, and then save and live within your means, and make sure that as your parents get older, that if they need your help, that you're there for them, that there's an obligation there of Matthew chapter 15. That is, the word honor. The word honor always included the idea of not only just respect, but material support if need be. Help them as they get older. Be for them as they get older. Always, always have time to help your parents. Honor them with significant anniversaries or birthdays. That would be something else. Write them a card or letter of appreciation from time to time. Maybe you felt that it's just kind of understood, but it's always good just to sit down and write a card or a letter letting them know, "I really appreciate all your sacrifices over the years. All the times that, Dad went to work when he was not feeling well, and Mom was up doing laundry and cooking and cleaning when she was not 100%, etc." All the sacrifices that the parents made over the years, all the times that they They put off instant gratification and they did the right thing, and you benefited because you had parents like that. Give them a good funeral and say what needs to be said, say what they would want said. Okay? Yeah. Don't give them don't put your words in their mouth as far as the funeral that you want. Don't rewrite history, but give them the funeral that really expresses, if they're faithful Christians, the conviction of their hearts. Make good use of your upbringing. Proverbs really stresses that, like, don't forsake your mother's instruction. Don't forsake your father's instruction. Bind it around your heart and tie it around your neck, and it will protect you and watch over you and guard you because they're giving you good instruction. If you were raised by Christian parents, then you're like really privileged. You won the lottery on that one. And you were given a stable home, particularly if dad was there. There's a lot of kids growing up now without a dad in the home, and things are really collapsing because of that. So dad in the home, and we just understand that you're not raised just to go out and fritter your life away and follow just foolish temporary things. You are raised to really accomplish something in life and make your mark and embrace that. Don't resent that, but embrace that great responsibility and upbringing and foundation that you were given. Defend the faith. Okay, that would be something else. Defend the faith. Don't just kind of go along with what's popular and on the in crowd, but preach the word. Be urgent in season and out of season. That's how you honor them. 2 Timothy 4, verse 2. Ask them questions. Here's something. Ask them questions. Get all the stories. Record everything you can think. Ask them every question you can think of about how they were raised, their childhood, how they were parented, how they met, what moved them to become a Christian, how they've been able to remain faithful all these years, what they believe, and their relationship with God, and their prayer life, and the things they've learned from studying the scriptures, and everything you can think of. Because after they're gone, often no one knows that information. It's not on the internet. It's not on the internet. You can't Google it. Once that information is gone, often it's gone forever. So record all of it for your own benefit and also for the benefit of other generations. Praise their efforts and tell the right story. That's why you want to ask them questions. You want to make sure that you tell the accurate and the right story of their lives. Spend time with them. Look up to them. I think of Proverbs 31, where the father and the children connected to the worthy woman rise up and bless her. So make sure you praise your parents. Speak highly of them. I love my parents. I remember when dating, if I encountered a girl who spoke negatively of her parents, that was a red flag. Typically because sometimes when you encounter someone that speaks negatively about others, they're also going to speak negatively about you. And so I typically found that young people that rolled their eyes at their parents, young people that ignored their parents, young people that kind of just thought that their parents' biblical instruction was, a waste of time, young people that were ashamed of their parents, young people that spoke disparaging of their parents. My experience has been that young people with that attitude, that typically life crushes them at some point. It doesn't go well with that sort of person. Usually they end up, and things don't go well. There's a payback there that life dispenses to them. Usually people that have not listened to godly parents don't go out and have an amazing life after that. Yeah. So kind of a warning. There's a warning in Proverbs 30 about that. Well, the eye that mocks its father and mother, the ravens of the valley will pluck it out, and the young lions will eat it. So, you might look at that. I mean, Solomon had been around the block a couple times, and so have faithful Christians. That just has been my experience. Avoid the people that mock their parents, that roll their eyes at their parents. Particularly avoid women that do that. You want to stay out of that. So don't mock them. Don't mock them. God sees and hears that. Don't put a stumbling block before them. Matthew chapter 18, verse 8. Don't fall away. I've seen parents tempted to give up their faith because their children fell away, and they're trying to, at some point, justify the decision of their child. Last thing you want to do is get in the way of your parents making it to heaven. Okay? If you fall away, you're getting in the way of your parents making it to heaven. They may still make it, but you're not being any help. Do what's best eternally for them. Love them. Love their souls. Love their souls. Don't make them choose between God and you. Right? Don't make them make that hard choice. Don't ask them to lie or excuse you. Okay? And if they start doing that, correct them on that. Say, hey, Mom, there's no excuse what I did here. You don't have to spin the story here. I'm just flat out lazy or whatever it may be. You don't have to say that I was kind of sick this morning. I was just lazy and didn't get up for services. Okay, just tell the truth. Tell the truth. Don't become a wedge in the family. Don't become a wedge. And that means, do what is right. Follow God. Serve God. And allow them to die in peace. Allow them to die with the assurance that you're doing good and that you're doing okay. I've met so many Christian parents who have said that once their kids leave home, and particularly once their kids marry someone good, and they see them start going this, and they see that couple at services and etc., they can kind of take an exhale and say, okay, it looks like things are going good for the kids. Christian parents, at the end of the day, all the Christian parents really are concerned about is that you follow God and make it to heaven. Whatever you do for a career or whatever really is on a low priority after that, okay? Well, whatever your travels are, low priority, okay? They would rather have you working just a minimum wage job all your life and being faithful than making tons of money and being unfaithful. Material accomplishments do not make up for being unfaithful. And so the way that you can really make the parents of the righteous parent happy is just be faithful to God. Be faithful to God. Until next time, my name is Mark. Thank you.